Well, second meeting back. Spent a half hour this afternoon putting an agenda together and I probably left it home. So anyway, you have the sign in. Did everybody get their name on the sign-in sheet? Okay. Seems like there's more people than I see names, but okay. Welcome.
She didn't.
Who? Diane?
Did I?
Yes,
I thought, yes,
How
you
was
did.
she?
Oh, okay, yes, I did.
She
We're just getting old. It's
Never
tough, man.
I was standing right there. I was standing right there.
Huh?
I was standing right there when you signed it.
Oh.
All right,
Get me talking.
next meeting will be July the 7th here. Next meeting here will be July the 7th. And that's our auction, which has been put off and put off. If anybody has any lots with them, please make sure Skip gets them. If you forgot to bring something or otherwise would like to enter something, talk to Skip and see what arrangements he can make to accommodate. Okay, thank you. I know I must have something.
Yeah, I'm a passion around.
Let's look at the officer reports. Miss Judy, treasurer.
Okay, the club has a little over $13,000 in home.
Have you seen any money come in from dealers yet, or is it too early?
It's too early.
Too early, okay.
They'll be probably midsummer.
All right. I saw some of Tom's
I don't know, this is June.
correspondence whereby the letters have all gone out to the dealers and he's waiting for them.
Yeah.
See, this is where I leave my agenda. There is a TSDA show up in Richardson the end of this month, but I don't remember what weekend it goes.
What now?
Where's the TSDA show?
Yeah, the 25th and 6th.
25th and 26th. Okay, anyway. The other, since Ralph isn't here for Expo, the other event related to that is there's an Expo planning meeting June the 19th, 1/9, Saturday, 11 o'clock at Spring Creek on South Cooper. Those who either involved in it or would like to come along and learn more and see what goes on. Club buys lunch. Anyway, 11 o'clock, June 19th. Secretary, Mr. Secretary, please.
We have no change in the membership. We're holding it 90 members.
Sales books, anything you need to enlighten us on?
No activity on sales till consequence.
Anybody, you can always put books together and turn them in. You never know, somebody might actually buy something out of it. What else is going down? Oh, I have a thank you. Bill, I've been doubling as librarian for the time being, and I want to thank Janet for stepping up and being willing to take care of the library. If you need to check out books, and I know primarily it's the Scott stuff that comes and goes. Trying to keep track a little bit. We haven't had any disappear lately, which has been nice. But see, Janet, you can use them at the meeting if you need. You can take them home. Has anybody in Granbury asked to get any books, Dave? No? Okay. I did write that at one point, you know, we have a couple Granbury attendees who are usually more than willing to transport something down there if someone down there needs a book or whatever. That's good.
Newsletter.
Oh, yes, Peter, newsletter. Thank you.
Well, another 14 whopping pages that just came out a couple of days ago, so working on my next 14 pages, so I don't know, I've kind of had fun with it, I guess, over COVID. That's about the only amount of philatelic time I've spent with putting the newsletter together, mostly late at night, but this morning I just worked on the cover page for another Swiss been there, done that. Many more to come. I've still got a backlog of some articles from Pat. I don't know, you guys need to, I'm sure you all have some sort of a life experience that can be expressed through a stamp.
I'm sorry, that's a dull line.
No, we're stamp collectors. We have no life.
Nobody travels anywhere, huh?
No.
Well, I did. I went to Virginia 2 weeks ago. I had a wonderful time in Williamsburg. I'm like, there's a lot of opportunities here. If I haven't got time to write something. But maybe.
For some people, there's an app for that. In our case, there's usually a stamp for that. So.
Yeah. I know there were a number of stamps related to those areas. Maybe get something to you at some point. I have enough trouble putting the president's letter together without writing one.
Well, I know the thing like for me is, I read Lynn's, so I try to keep up with new issues that come out, way before they're in the catalog. And, if I see something that pertains, and the big issue is, yeah, I've been there or know the person or whatever the case is, but gee, it's a brand new issue from like 2020 or maybe this year or even sometimes a year or two ago, depending on, how Lynn's does their so-called new issues. The hardest problem is getting a hold of, what's considered new issues. And with a lot of stamp dealers, they seem to consider a new issue something that like around 1995, because a lot of them don't buy anything that's much more current than that for their stock. So I think I have a little something in the next newsletter about just my recommendations is buying new issues is actually one of the hardest things you can do. It starts with the U.S. Postal Service. We never seem to have anything in stock. You having to order it, at least that kind of works. If you're trying to deal with foreign postal administrations, buying new issues can be, haphazard at best with some countries, impossible in others. Canada would be a good one to buy. Their website is good in buying stuff. And I've successfully bought things from the Swiss and Liechtenstein post offices. If I can understand the languages, then France and others, Denmark and those are probably. There is now something called WOPA, which is the World Philatelic Agency. It's kind of one company that offers stamps kind of directly via the postal administrations, but there's something like 40 or 50 countries in there, most of which are Western Europe, but there's some others from around the world in there as well, I think like Japan or others. And you place an order through that website with your credit card, they send it off to whatever country and you'll get it directly fulfilled from that country. Makes it a little bit easier because their website's in English. If you try to buy something from Equatorial Guinea, which I tried to do one time, I think the only Spanish-speaking country in Africa, and it was like a nightmare. You couldn't. Language barrier. They don't have a website. How are you going to pay them? Cash? Well, they'll never get there. So there are some dealers that specialize in new issues. I'm not sure how many there are. The guy I've dealt with for the last few years, he pretty much gets most everything that's out from practically every major or minor country in the world. Is I don't know his name, but he operates under Bombay stamps. So I bought stuff from him. His postage price is reasonable. It's usually about double face, probably catalog value, if you will. So if you're looking for something newer, this is not stuff you're going to find at any of the expo or other dealers. If you need a newer stamp, especially like me, if you want to own it, if you're going to write about it, then those would be my suggestions there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, I'd second that on trying to get stamps at the local post office.
Yeah.
Move around doing different places, and there's 3 or 4 I've tried in the last month, and it's like, what do you got that's new? Well, they offer me something from a year ago, or you're looking for commemoratives, it's like, what's that? It's just like,
I had that experience
yeah, it's
today.
tough. Yeah. It's not there.
Why do they print them, but they're not gonna sell them?
Stan, a second in charge of Expo, do anything in particular on Expo we need to say, other than we have the meeting coming up?
No, just y'all come.
I can add something to that.
Rick.
We're trying to put together beginners packages for Expo with these coloring books. And we're gonna be handing them out. Apparently, we've got something like 30 of them on order. Also, the APS has donated perforation gauges for us to hand out as well. So I'm expecting to get those in the mail any day now.
All right, thank you.
So they're getting 3 dozen of those for us.
Thank you for your efforts in coordinating. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I got one thing.
Yes.
So.
I just
you're gonna
finished
have these.
Putting together
What
the
do you have for
mailing
kids?
list of people who signed up for Expo. And I was just astounded that we had 80 new people show up, 132 returnees. So I don't know, I don't know what we did. But anyway, yeah.
I think we were the only show in town.
Yeah, yeah, so anyway, I appreciate everybody that did show up, and maybe we'll try to figure out what we did right.
I guess he was asking him how we heard about it, right? So we didn't get into that here.
Oh, that'll be on the registration slip. See, this last show, we couldn't take addresses. All we could take was a name and their phone number and their email, because it was a county list that we were keeping, had to fill out. and turn
Contact
in.
list.
Yeah,
Contact us, yeah.
so, but anyway, I just couldn't believe that, 82 people were brand new.
We mail out the same stuff,
Yeah,
right?
mailed out the same stuff. Everything was
Veterans
the same.
Parade was canceled.
For requests.
We'll-
All right, how about try show and tell?
I don't know.
Just a moment.
I mean, I've
Oh,
heard
yes,
something.
there you go.
Then I went
This is the
down
big
to
news. Here we go.
office and they-
Oh, yes. Oh,
Wow.
oh, my wife made this quilt. She really didn't have room for it in our house. And she suggested that we put it on auction. And that is where I got to thinking one out loud, because our club really needs the money. But anyway, this is the quilt, $1 ticket, 6 for $5. And it's back there on the Skip's desk are the tickets. Be sure to print your name very carefully. When we pull the name out, we can't read it. It's gonna be tough to find a winner. The idea is to pull a ticket at about the time the silent auction closes at Expo. That way we can sell tickets to, I'll arrange to have it displayed at Expo, and we can sell tickets to the people that come in to the show, dealers and whatever. So I'm gonna put this up here. Thing it is with quilting, if you know anything about quilting, my wife would kill me if she saw me hold this with my bare fingers. They use gloves, so please don't touch it. We don't look at it.
Have you got an envelope to go with that?
So anyway, $10 get you 12 tickets, $20 get you 24 tickets, all right? It's a honor system back there. You separate the tickets, keep the one that's got the number on it, well, they both have numbers on it, but the one that's got the place for the name, put it in the jar with the money, okay?
Ken, thank you, and especially thank your wife.
Oh, yes,
For
thank you.
the efforts, that's very. We don't show and tell, coming down here, they're all speaking once.
It's not what this time I can- Show and tell,
Show and tell.
right here. She brought a guest.
I brought a guest.
I'm sorry, I asked, I
This
did that.
is Elaine Eves.
Okay,
We've been friends for over 30 years. And she's done tons for me and I've done a little bit for her. But
is
we're
she
just best friends.
interested in philately at all, or she just coming along as a friend?
I'm her driver.
Yeah, I don't have a car.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, thank you for bringing, I
My
appreciate
chauffeur.
that very much. Anybody?
Well, I was gonna tell you something about the rose gold roses.
Yeah.
50-yard line.
It's an inside joke from dinner. Yes.
You gotta come to meet.
Anybody else? Dave, you want to advertise your next meeting?
Yes, the next Granbury meeting will be the first live meeting in the year and a quarter. It will be held on the 4th Tuesday of this month, which I believe is the 23rd. 7 o'clock in Granbury. The directions are in the at the website in the club directory. And need information from me, email me, Dave Stockbridge. And give you guidance. We're going to have a meet at a place called Grump's, which is within a mile of the meeting place. That will commence at 5 o'clock. Y'all are welcome to come on down our way if you care to buck the traffic. Spend a little time with us. Our program will be
Clean out your closet.
clean out your closet, which was done here last month. So we're taking the closet from here and moving it down there. Okay.
It's the 22nd.
Second, not the third. Okay.
When are you guys gonna do your auction?
I haven't set a firm date yet. I'm thinking September.
Oh, okay, well, I'll wait for it.
I've got to get it together.
Okay.
I actually am going to pursue something that our Connecticut member talked about and try to do the auction and have it so people can bid remotely on our auction through Zoom.
All right.
Which, what's the fellow's name from Connecticut that attends
John.
our?
John.
John Withers,
With it.
John Withers.
Member of this club, which is Connecticut. I'm conferring with him and seeing how we can do that.
Right. Well, good luck with that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else from around the back? Ben?
I have an interesting couple of stamps that I got on the mail, in the mail this week. They're from Great Britain, and the theme is rescue at sea, and it's a rescue helicopter. But what's really interesting is the horizontal perforations between stamps. Instead of being a series of little dots, holes, it's dot, 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 dash, 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 dot, dot, dot. It's Morse code for
Yeah.
That's kind of
SOS.
cool.
I never saw a perf like this before, but the horizontal perforations are just basically SOS. And I thought I'd pass this around and see if anybody.
It also makes good anti-counterfeiting technique, right?
It's interesting, but. Jamie.
A couple of weeks ago at one of the Coin Club meetings, there's a lady there that is a Vietnam veteran. She works with the Veterans Administration. And she was telling us about this thing called Stamps for the Wounded. I don't know, maybe y'all know about it, but some of you veterans, but they want stamps. They don't care where they're from. They would like to have them on paper. So, I mean, they could be used stamps, and they take these veterans and part of their physical rehab. They teach them to soak it off, and then they decoupage on various objects, like trash cans or you know,
Okay.
photo albums and all that stuff. I have some information here if anybody would care to do that.
Do an address or a contact point.
Yeah, and they're looking for gobs of stamps. And normally, not very many of us have a whole lot of extra stamps, right?
Put that in the newsletter, I think.
That's a good idea. Yeah. So anyhow, if you want to send to them or give it to me and I'll send to them. I'm making up a big box to send.
All righty. Thank you. Peter, you thought I skipped you, didn't you?
Oh, okay. I was amazed to do what passes through the mail without a stamp, so this was properly faced, you know, address return. You know, it's got the postnet code on it, the yellow ones on the back. But nobody noticed it, even the person delivering the mail didn't notice it. There was like absolutely nothing here. This was from a commercial entity, so you figure they'd either use, you know, probably a meter or something. This was from a fairly large commercial entity known as Plano Independent School District. The contents have been removed, but I did see it before it was open, but I thought it was rather interesting that, you know, so much for revenue protection.
Did it look like there was a stamp that came off, or there
No,
just shouldn't be
there's
nothing wrong?
there's nothing there.
No
It's
gum,
nice
nothing wrong.
clean envelope, no, nothing scratched or scraped off like it happens occasionally.
Do they refer to the Plano Independent School District as PISS?
Yeah, I see.
Sorry about that.
That's who you want teaching your kids, right?
I was going through my pile of just miscellaneous stuff at home, and I found this postcard actually was mailed to me back in 2015 from England, or to say the United Kingdom. I didn't recognize the stamp. It's not a regular Great Britain stamp. It says Universal Mail United Kingdom. Well, usually with some of these more local things, they do manage to enter the mail stream because whatever Universal Mail is, I'm not that up to speed on that particular company or outfit or whatever over there. It was a postcard mailed to me. I don't remember by whom because there's no return address. Must have been somebody that knows me and sent it to
Oh,
me.
you're from the Plano Independent School.
Yeah, well, maybe, but doubt it. Anyway, it did take like 24 days to make it to me from the postmark date of July 7th, which I can't read it. Something Londonderry or whatever the postmark is partially obscured, but if you collect locals, and there's more and more of those out there. Germany has a whole boatload of those, which operate kind of in the region, say like greater DFW area. It's their own postal service. It's condoned by the Germans. Now, you're mailing it to a region outside where that company operates, then I don't know what the agreement is that say Deutsche Post would have to carry it from there. But it certainly makes an interesting area of study as long as postal administrations go semi-private. It's just-
I was gonna say, Janet found out why it didn't have a stamp on it. Well, I mean, it's the whole thing's upside down.
Well, no, actually, if you look, it's weird, but if you look at the envelope, the area for the return address and the window for the to address are correct.
Yes,
But
but
the-
the flat was on the wrong side, on the back.
It doesn't matter, it's
I know.
based on the text, but it's supposed to face it based on the stamp in the corner. Oh, and if you didn't see, I do actually have one I show sell. I got a whole boatload of these extra UV lamps, so if you see there, it nicely shows the fluorescent or phosphorescent, whichever it is, that's used on there. So I have a bunch more of these that I know what to do with. And since Skip had brought it up, I mailed you like 8 of these, right? Presumably you got them, but he's asking about the gauges. Now, the little, paper ones like this, I have the usual paper ones that most everybody's probably worked with themselves for the last 40 or 50 years. I even found this old stamp wallet that has exactly the same thing printed. And so I think everybody going back to probably the 40s or 50s were using that same layout and then just put their company name in it like Honor Build or my originals were based on these two. This one is actually a freebie from Mystic Stamp Company, as the original one said on the back, and another one was Honor Build. But anyway, I just took one of these and I just manipulated them, printed them, 8 a piece on just kind of cardstock, and I'll put our Mid-City Stamp Club logo in it for good measure. But if anybody wants these, and I compared these to the actual ones I had, and all the purse and just line up just perfect. So it's 100% reproduction. If you're interested, let me know. And also, I found this laying around. If anybody likes these kind of stock books, I personally don't. So it's free to whoever wants it.
Thank you. Anybody else have show and tell, any other business or announcements? All right, I guess we will be up to drawing for the door prize.
How many do we have, Judy?
How many door prizes?
Oh, we still have quite a bit. I have 8.
8 tonight.
Yeah, how many are here?
We got 19 people.
Okay.
We have 20.
We have 20, so
Well, I didn't
I
count.
counted
myself.
twice.
Oh.
I count you, 20.
Yeah, well, there's 20, but I don't count.
So
myself.
everybody has.
Close to.
So,
What's our number range this evening, sir?
1 to 19.
Yes.
1 to 19. Tony, give me a number from 1 to 19, please.
7.
Thank you.
Lucky 7. Diana Davis.
All right.
Whoa,
What?
What?
Wake that lady up. Diana, Ms. Davis, can we get a number between 1 and 19, please? pages from you, other than 7?
1 and 19, 3.
Okay, that fits the pattern.
Peter Elias.
Peter,
Peter,
oh, there will be.
expo spending money.
You said, hey, give me out.
Okay.
Peter, give us a number, please.
What was mine?
We got 3 and 7 taken.
Which one?
3 and 7 are taken.
Well, since everybody else talks about not calling the number, I'll say 1.
1.
Numero uno, Rich Hildebrand.
Get over the I'm sorry. Um, 10.
Number 10. Ken Aldridge.
Solvers, another number, please.
17.
17, I like that.
Jim Case.
Oh, Jim. Way to go, Jim.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. It almost pay for the gas it costs to come up here.
Okay, another number.
Jim, do we get another number?
How about number 11?
Sure.
Howard Savage.
Okay.
Well, I can't reach that far.
We got, how we, 2 more?
2 more to go.
Howard, pick us a number, sir.
8.
8.
Janet Moyer.
You have got to be kidding. 2 in a row.
I
Oh, my
want to do a recount.
God. 16.
16. Bob Weedman.
1-6.
All right, Bob.
I need to go out.
Well, we hit the bottom, that's the end for now. All right. Our program is going to be presented by Ken Aldridge.
Remember the tickets in the back.
What's the sale here? Come on back in 10 minutes and Ken will put on the program. Thank you.
Well, yeah, it looks great.
There.
Yes.
All right. Oh, local, that's right.
I'm all right.
How you been? Yeah.
That's not that good.
I like that.
Yeah, okay.
Why?
And you can't read lips either.
I can't hear what crap.
I can't either.
Yeah.
I mean, there's too many people on this. I'm not talking about this. We spend most of our time at home saying, what? Back and forth.
No, I'm not standing on it. And you should look be in the kitchen. Talking, I'm in the computer. My music on my music.
Yeah.
And I'm supposed to hear what he's saying. I'll be in the bathroom and he'll be in the computer. And I'm trying to talk. And he's got his headphones on.
That's me. I do that all the time.
So even when I'm sitting at my desk, I gotta turn around, put my hand on the
Yeah.
before I say anything, because otherwise I'm talking to.
Right.
I've got to the point where I watch YouTube more than I do TV. So
That videos of that.
That took the cake this
So much
morning.
fun, just like
Yeah.
ask her and see what she costs her, and then get.
Did it ever say where that was? What?
How long did it take?
You know, they didn't.
Yeah.
That it actually somewhere up there.
Yeah.
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 Ben, how you been?
Good, how are you?
I'm well.
Maybe.
Well, I had to get a picture.
Take a look at what's on there.
It got really bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Took
So you've been doing
fortunate
anything
occurrence in
interesting?
December.
Not really.
Doctor, cardiologist had me to figure what's the matter.
To the what?
So he said,
No,
well,
I
let's do,
didn't.
Yeah, we couldn't make it.
Yeah.
look in the office.
Rick was, but I didn't.
So I'll, when in the hospital, I'm hooked up.
I think.
Those patients that drive us to intermittent.
Yeah.
And you would do all the tests.
I did, thanks.
We gotta have something.
I remember a lady.
I know, but it's.
We did all the tests on her twice.
I mean,
Finally, she still had a life.
I'm right here. When I try to. I just.
Well, you know,
Just with the brush.
Well, I've known for years. But it didn't relate it to lightheaded, passed out a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, I love it.
Yeah, that's what I was told. You know, it's just, it's not a rare thing. But then afterwards, when it happened, electrical guy had to practice, had to be in the hospital. Had to go. She goes, look. What you see? So New Year's Eve, I spent it on my back. There at the ceiling. But I'm good now. I got my feet walking.
how long is your battery good?
Well, I hope it's not. You know, it's one of these, you hear 8 to 10 years, 5. Yeah. I just hope I get to have a battery.
They had one year ago.
I just,
Recharge.
But it-
How did
You always tell me. Oh, yeah, but that's all.
Yeah, I can see where.
I don't want to have them sit on it and just forget about it.
We gotta take care
So,
of it.
I'm glad. It's just one. It's fun for a couple of days.
So you got $10.
Yeah. Only I'm just gonna open it anymore.
Just put your phone number.
So.
I just keep the keyword.
That's why I was.
I'm trying not to do
What'd she say? What'd she say?
She's locked out. Well, she locked the doors, so nobody would come in. And they went outside. Oh, they get her scissors.
She forgot her key. Yes.
I don't have any idea what it is.
Where? I don't know. I guess it's a, is it a couple?
Me.
That you have a perpetual sign?
See?
I make her happy. Yeah.
Yeah.
He thinks I'm a crab, so I'm glad you said it. Have a smile.
You're a crab?
A crab.
It comes with the set.
Yeah.
I don't know what a crab is.
Maybe it's genuine, or maybe this guy's getting screwed.
It's a genuine thing.
And this I really need to have it do farther apart.
Thanks for calling the meeting the other day.
Yeah, I think it's nice to get together. I enjoy that. It's nice.
And I told you, Friday's a good day for me.
Friday is, well, I think we'll probably have some.
But you did Wednesday. One Wednesday, one Friday. Got
They
it.
said,
Not.
Because I can do it. I can do it somewhat. Good discussion going on. It is all.
So I could take
No, I don't.
I could do a few of them.
I know.
You know, the great.
This was.
There's no way any judge.
He said he didn't.
And so you had all the bail with the judge.
I just can't do this. I can do this.
I think it's nice. That the lady was it North Richmond Hills Coin Club meeting up there. She was telling us about it. She was a nurse in Vietnam, and she stays active in the veterans. And as part of their business affairs.
Because I wouldn't have thought it was over to the veteran hospital to the side from South Drive.
I put the papers out there on the table. And tell you the truth, I haven't read the whole thing.
Looking like this, everyone said I
Now, there he is.
Jim, you said that lady works for the VA?
No, oh, I don't know what she does. I just know she's involved in a lot of government stuff.
Okay,
Because she is, she was a nurse in Vietnam.
okay. You don't know where, is it Dallas or Fort Worth or what that she goes to?
She
Or,
lives in North Richmond Hill.
oh, well, she go to either one.
Yeah.
Of course, Dallas, you spent several hours looking for a parking spot.
Yeah. Yeah. One over here is a whole lot easier.
Yeah, oh, yes, yes.
Not that bad.
But she's been doing this for a while.
Yeah, she just brought it up and she handed out a few of the papers. And I made 10 copies to bring in here.
Okay, good.
But I know there's a lot of veterans here, and a lot of people that are care about the veterans.
Right, exactly.
enlighten us about his engraving.
Okay.
Got in the way.
Testing, testing, testing.
You're not signed.
Testing, testing, testing. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm done. Take me a minute, get this cranked up. Yeah. One of the interesting things about stamp collecting is the different aspects that are involved in not only stamps, but printing, paper used, printing styles. The one thing that I never really thought much about was the people that designed these stamps, the engravers. I read an article about Czeslaw Slania about 1999, 2000 or whatever. And it turned out that he was going to be coming to a big show in Tucson. Arapex is a big stamp show for Arizona. One year it's in Tucson, the next year it's in Mesa. Anyway, he was going to be featured there. So I quickly dug out some things that I had. And then I also quickly ordered a few things because I wanted to get his autograph. He was born in 1921 and died 2005. This is a picture of him in a brochure that the United Nations put out for their 60th anniversary. They got him to design 3 stamps. It tells just a little bit about him. And this is the book that came out. And I ordered the stamps, and this is how they came. And these are the stamps and the souvenir sheets, which you got one for Geneva, one for Vienna, and one for New York. I got this large stamp up in the left-hand corner, and I made a copy of it with his picture and his background, and at the show in Tucson in 2001. He was there, and just a quiet, meek little guy sitting over in the corner. I felt kind of sorry for the guy. Went over and started talking to him. And I said, I guess, would you mind autographing? Oh, no problem. And look at that signature. Now he does really, really involved engraving, but that's really a sloppy signature. There's a stamp. That's Swedish. This happens to be one of the largest souvenir sheets or stamp souvenir sheet. It's set a record for the size. Then I found out that before he was I ordered these from Actually, I think they came from Sweden. And this is 1986, the joint issue of the stamp collection, US stamp collecting and the Swedish stamp collecting, a joint issue. And it was for the Ameripex, which was in Chicago, 1986. But in addition to that, there was three. This is a sheet put out by the United Nations. And the engraving for this sheet was done by Czeslaw. The other two sheets were different engravers. I had the album of US stamps, and somewhere I read that Slania actually did the engraving for the Grace Kelly stamp that came out in 1991, 93. So I whipped that sheet out, he autographed it. Here's another US stamp that he did. It's the Saratoga, the $1 Saratoga stamp, 1994. One of the things that we go through this is the detail, the intricate detail of the stamps. And not only scenery and landscapes, but individual portraits and various royalty that I'll show you here in a minute. Here's a souvenir sheet and an envelope for the first day cover of the souvenir sheet for the Faroe Islands. He did a lot of engraving for the Faroe Islands for some reason. I guess we're close to Sweden. This was, it says 100, looks like 100th anniversary. I assume that's 100th anniversary of their first stamp. This is another one from Sweden, souvenir sheet. Very detailed with the writing and drawings. I can't imagine how long it took him, to do that. But very talented. This is not a set. These are some individual issues over a several year period that he did for Sweden of some of their the royalty. It was a really great job with the faces and these are just three different Swedish stamps. This is about a set. I had quite a few. I don't know how many he's actually engraved. I know coming up there was a stamp he did was for his thousands stamp that he engraved. But it's quite a club of followers that just collect Slania stuff. And I'm not one of them, but I've got probably 30 or 40 stamps. I just picked out a few of them that I thought showed more of a variety of the different scenes. And here you got, the body and buildings and ships. This was, I thought, was kind of unique for him to do something like this. And it was different enough, I decided to include it. It's interesting to know the story behind it because I'm sure it would take me very long to do at least the top two. Here again, this is not, I think the first two are on a set. The third and fourth one are just individual issues, again from Sweden. This is a postcard that is the wedding of King Carl VI. And it's June 19th, 1976. They were married. The stamp was issued by Sweden as part of the 1976 show called National Show called Interfield. I don't know where that was. color doesn't really come out very good on this. It's actually rarer than what you see. This stamp is, Slania was born in Poland and went to high school, went to the art school, and soon got a job with the postal authorities in Poland. And apparently got right into engraving. And this is one of his earlier stamps. It didn't say it was his first one that he did, but it is one of the earlier ones he did, and it's a General Nebraska. I think it was 1951. He was born in 1921, so he was 30 years old when he did this. After a few years, he moved to Sweden and went to work for the Swedish Postal Service and started doing a lot of their engravings. This is the very first stamp that he engraved for Sweden. And this is a poet, Czeslaw Slania, and that was in 1960. This is another Faroe Island. The detail on this with all of the wool and everything kind of fascinated me. You know, if he was still alive, I could talk to him. I would love to find out how long would it take him to do a stamp like this. But somebody said, how long would it take my wife to do that quilt? I don't really know. She's got about 3 or 4 quilts going at all one time. But I'm going to ask. This is a set, a very recent set that had a lot of detail with the shipping and scenery. Really quite attractive set. So this was, he was at that show in 2001 and he died in 2005. The engraving he did for the United Nations for their 60th anniversary was 2005. So he died shortly after he did those engravings. That very large stamp that was up there, that was his 1,000th stamp that he engraved. We got that one. There's actually a blog called slaniacrazy.blogspot.com. I checked on it and it's got some interesting comments. There's, like I say, it's quite an organization of followers and collectors that seek out his stamps. I think it's a great area to get involved in. The stamps are nice. They're fairly reasonably priced. And of course, a lot of them are from Sweden, but you can see he's done some US, and the Faroe Islands, and several other countries for the UN. But if you're interested, I think it's a good area to get involved in. I'm probably not going to pursue buying since I'm trying to whittle my collection down. But I've had these for quite a few years, and when somebody suggested, doing a program, I thought, well, maybe this would be a good chance for me to get organized with this and put some things together. So anyway, that's the last slide. It's a short program, but I hope you found it interesting.
Good questions.
Yeah, I got 2 questions.
All right.
First of all, are there any of the stamps that he engraved that are really scarce or rare? I mean, I just want to know if somebody were to start collecting stamps he engraved, could you get a complete collection?
Yes.
You could.
Yes. Yes, you can. Because I read an article about that here a few years ago. There's really nothing that's expensive to share.
So somebody wanted to do that, they could assemble a complete collection. It wouldn't be one of these deals where you get down to, you need one or two that cost
And I'm
$1,000.
sure if you went to this blog site somewhere, they would have a list of all of the stamps that he did.
And did he engrave anything besides stamps? Did he do currency or anything like that?
I don't know.
Well, thank you.
There was an article in Lynn's
I got
on
an
him.
article
and,
about it.
I think they displayed stamps that other engravers
Someone
have
else have a
done right
question?
next to his.
Yeah,
and it was
Ken, how many
amazing
countries did he engrave for? You know?
Beautiful.
You know, I really,
Yes,
I really don't know.
the
The ones
detail.
I've got is about 5 countries, so, he did not pursue, of course.
Right.
I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know how many actual countries that he did. And if you go on this blog site, I'm sure you can find out. But, I got a feeling there's really not that many. So, I don't know.
More. I make my pitch. We're always in need of people who would like to put on a program for us. July is auction, but we have August and September open. That'd be 2 months for someone to rustle something up if they could.
Well, then don't turn it on.
It's not my job. It's not my job description.
I can't do it. It's gonna stay on, I guess.
I don't know.
It's just gonna.
There you go.
Yes.
Now it's still on.
Yep, and up there it says.
It's an orange, see the green light, it's supposed to turn orange.
Well, turn orange light.
Okay.
5 on your shoulders.
Again, too short.
Oh,
Lift
see
her,
this.
Rich, lift her up.
Still under restriction.
It's a better show.
On the floor.
All right, thank you for coming. Our next meeting here will be July the 7th, the auction. Bring money. Oh, yeah. And
Y'all go
have a
back
safe
to-
month.
Or you can use gift certificates if you got it.
Yes, you can. These gift certificates that people won tonight are usable in the auction. Right. Okay. Anything else? I think we're adjourned. Till you change. Okay. No change, so at least by $10. Okay. Thank you all.